Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Assets Over Money podcast, episode number 14. 14 times 2. I don't know. I think that, what is that? 28. What? At 28, 14. Let's see. That's 28 weeks we've been doing this so far, man. So it's been been awesome for sure. And we got an awesome guest today. We got our guy, Chris James, here. And if you guys don't know about him, I'm going to tell you about him here shortly. But before we jump into that, how are we doing, gentlemen?
Hey, good, man.
Doing well.
Burning up. I can say that. It's a very hot day over here in Florida. I can say
I already know.
Don't let the show hoodie, whatever you want to call it, fool you. But it's hot as hell outside.
And that's Florida, dog. Look, I know some Florida people don't even have pants to wear, dog. They wear shorts. No lie.
Yeah.
Hey, like Jason. Hey, when I first met Jason, in Florida, he said, I don't own any pants, man. I wear shorts every day.
Yeah.
Hey, and he's big in short-term rentals down there. So like at the end of the day, man, like don't need to get no pants, no long sleeves in Florida, bro.
Yeah, he said shorts and short-term rentals, huh? That's the brand. That's the brand. And Chris, I know you from New York. I know you'll talk about that in a little bit, but you probably got some Timberlands on underneath the desk. I don't know if we want to see the top. Got the butters on.
Actually, I got to agree with Kev because initially when I moved here, I was prepared with a coat. I was prepared with all these different things, and when I moved here, I threw out a lot. And 95% of my clothes are shorts and tank tops. First tank tops, those kind of things. I may have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 of these kind of things, represent my company and all that good stuff. But at the same time, when you move to Florida, you might as well throw it out. You might as well just throw it out. Definitely the humidity, the temperature, and I can understand now when people say it's cold out. I'm like, it's only 65 degrees or 60 degrees. Like, what do you mean it's cold out? Have you been in New York? Like, it's not cold until you've been there. Like, we're talking about negatives in New York versus you're talking about 60 degrees is cold, and I'm like, I can feel it now. I can see the temperature change. I can understand the humidity behind it and all that good stuff. So to answer the question, yes, I got rid of those Timberlands and all that good stuff.
Bro, don't let nobody.
Not the butters.
Yeah, not the butters, man.
Not the butters.
Don't let nobody from New York hear you say that, man. They're gonna stop naming you.
No, that's right. Disowned, That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy, man. I know both of y'all would. Kev in North Carolina, you in Florida. I'm up here in New York. It was 50 degrees today, and I'm like, man, it feels good outside. I, went out short sleeve, felt nice. But I envy y'all a little bit. I'll be completely honest. But that's enough small talk. Let's go ahead and I guess really get this started, man. So for some of you guys who do not know who Chris is, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about him. So Chris is a very experienced real estate investor who has absolutely mastered the co-living investment model through PadSplit. If you don't know what PadSplit is, don't even worry. We're going to get into that, providing affordable housing while maximizing rental cash flow. So for those of you who have long-term rentals that are making you $200-300, he is now utilizing the PadSplit model, which can 10x, 20x, 30x those returns on that. And he'll dive into that. I'm not going to steal his thunder on that, but his portfolio is a testament to how investors can creatively scale in the real estate space. So in addition to all the investments that he does have, Chris is also the owner of a transaction coordination business, one of which I have used, and they are phenomenal. So if you are in need of a TC, you need to hit them up for sure. And he'll dive into all that as well too. But within the TC business, he helps real estate professionals streamline their deals, ensuring smooth and efficient closings. His expertise in operation and deal flow has made him a go-to resource for investors looking to scale without getting lost, in all the paperwork. So Chris is all about systems, strategy, scalability, and real estate. So tonight we're going to be diving into his journey, the power of co-living investments. And that's kind of what the market is kind of transferring to, and then how he's built multiple income streams in the industry. And then, how he also maintains being a father and, moving to Florida and just crushing it in life in general. But without further ado, I'm going to bring you to the stage, Chris, man.
Well, I think that was more than a welcome. I appreciate that.
From the heart.
That means a lot. Just thank you both for having me on today. This means a lot. It's just real estate itself. It could be challenging, right? It could definitely be challenging. It's just more so how you navigate it, being around the right people like yourselves, and just uplifting and a constant battle and all that good stuff. Like for instance, Richard, you motivate me on a daily basis. I'm constantly looking at all your reels, your lives, and all that good stuff. And when you're jogging and stuff, I'm like, damn, I could have swore my workout was done for today. I need to get my behind back out there. He's still going. Like, and that's something I admire about you. And that's one thing I really learned over the years is that everyone in life can bring you some kind of value. It is probably not the value you're looking for. It's really probably not the value you're looking for. However, God always have a plan of where you're going to go in life, and sometimes you don't know the direction unless you meet that one individual. So I just wanted to preface with that, and I truly believe everything does happen for a reason, and it's the reason I'm here today, speaking with you guys.
Amen, man. And thank you for the kind word. I'm glad I'm motivating you, man. That just motivates me to do it more. As long as I know I'm motivating Chris and then Kev, I know Kevin be commenting, I'm good to go. That means I just don't stop, no matter if I get 0 likes or 2 likes. You know what I mean?
There you go.
But yeah, man, I guess really just tell us your story. I know some of your story, you know,
Yeah.
but just tell us your story, man. How did you get into real estate? You know, how did you switch from the path that you were on before? Like, how was that for you?
Yeah, so I got it into real estate in 2019. It was like pre-COVID, maybe post-COVID, one of the two, in between that. So this is actually, I come from a background for a hospitality restaurant. I was a director of operations for literally a decade and running several restaurants, overseeing a lot of restaurants. I got a big passion for cooking. So any of you guys out there want to have cooking contests, we can do it all day, every day. I fly out and everything. So, but more so, I got a passion for cooking. And when COVID hit, they laid off a lot of our restaurants, a lot of them. So we were at home, and it was a gentleman named Max Merritt. Max Merritt, we graduated together in it's been a long time too. 09. We graduated 09 in high school, and he always said, get into real estate, get into real estate, get into real estate. And I didn't pay no mind. I was one of those, oh yeah, I will. And then, and then literally 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. So funny enough, I'm still in New York at that time. And he always came into the restaurant and say, Chris, what are you doing here? Now, I was at an upscale restaurant. I managed to, I was running 60, 70 hours at the specific location, also overseeing different locations as far as Massachusetts, Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, and also Binghamton, New York. So it was all these different locations I was overseeing and also being in the house. And for him to come in on a constant basis, say, Chris, get into real estate, get into real estate. And he even gave me his number and said, Chris, reach out to me tonight. Oh, I said, oh, I got you. And never did. 2-3 years go by. And finally COVID hits. The restaurants was on pause. Let's be honest. It was on pause. We was collecting stimulus checks. At the time, I think they call it stimmies or stimulus checks, whatever you want to call it. And I was surrounded by, at the time, individuals who were blowing it on clothes, on belts, Gucci belts, all this name brand stuff. By the time I didn't, I used it to literally get into real estate. My first mentorship, Cody Sperber, Clever Investor. Now, if I back up before I joined that mentorship, I started to get my real estate license. I was 85, if not 87% completed, and I stopped. Now, I want to preface, I'm not a quitter. You probably think, but you stopped.
You pulled the
Kanye. I was at 87%, and I literally stopped because I saw Cody Sperber's ad. And I'm like, at that time, I'm thinking to myself, if I become a real estate agent, I'm going to limit myself to what I really can do. Let's be honest, I could only do 2 things at the time. I could be a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, right? Those are 2 options. Now, could I do a dual listing and all that good stuff? Yes, to get a bigger commission, 100%. But where I was located in Rochester, New York, it didn't make sense for me to collect 3%. And again, this is my preference, 3% on an average medium house, so maybe $250,000 to $300,000. Didn't make sense. Not saying that's not good money. It just didn't make sense for me. Now, if I was in Beverly Hills or California and all that good stuff, that's a different conversation. You're talking about different price points. You're talking about 2.5, $3.5 million. Now, I went into Cody Sperber and I used the stimulus money at the time for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm learning about wholesaling. And at the time, I was broke, guys. I kid you not. I was dead broke. Even when I booked the flight, I'm like, okay, I bought his mentorship. I actually bought a private meeting with him, Cole Haddock, John Cougar, and 3 other individuals. It was like 8 of us at the private table in Phoenix, Arizona. And I remember when I'm at this table, I have a negative $386 in my account. And all this food coming to the table. I'm like, damn, who paid for all this? Now, mind you, I didn't verbally say that out loud, but my mind, like, ugh. Now, the conversation at the table is very different. Very different. You're not basically gossiping. You're literally having a quality conversation about what can I do to help you make more money, or what are you doing in your business? Where are your some of your opportunities I can help you with? And mind you, they're going all around the table. I'm like, hope they run out of time. They don't go to me because I don't have nothing. I have literally nothing. I don't want to sound like Whitney Houston, but I kid you not, at the time, really, I was broke. I was really broke trying to make things work out. So when the conversations continue, we was there for about 2 hours. Now the check finally comes. When it was a true wake-up call when I saw Cody Sperber, he didn't even look at the bill. All he did is give the card. Here's the card, took it. Now in my head, I don't know why at that time it was a little different. Again, my mindset changed from back then. I'm like, damn, I should have ordered more. Like I should, but at the time I just didn't know. I saw there was a set menu and all those different things. We could order whatever we want to do, and I'm used to more so paying for myself, not someone else paying for me. So when he gave him the card and he came back and sir, you're all set, and we just had a quality conversation. We went back to his actual studio. I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a real estate investor. The way he's so relaxed, the way he's just being like he's present. He's not thinking about when the next check is going to come. He's not thinking about how I'm going to pay a utility bill and all those different things. And I'm like, okay, I need to get out of the space I am. So on the flight back, I made it my objective to watch every module, every content that he had. And I was stuck in YouTube University. I'm not going to lie. I was stuck up there for a little bit. And it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I mastered a wholesaler. And I started forming teams and all the other things for just wholesaling. And then from there, I started making money. A little bit of money. My first check I ever received was $5,800. It was supposed to be $6,200. In New York, I'll get to that in a second. In New York, it does take a while to close transactions due to the fact it's an attorney state. Now, at the time, I didn't know that. When it comes to my first wholesale deal I did, thank God for my sister giving me a chance, because it was actually my sister. I actually wholesaled her house. And at the time, she didn't know that. She did not know it. She thought I was the buyer. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not telling her nothing. I'm buying your house. I'm like, that's all you need to know. This is how much money you want. You wanted $62,000. It was $61,000 because she wanted $70,000. We knocked her down to the wholesaling thing, right? Oh, you got this repair going on. You got that repair going on. And she took a chance on me, and I was supposed to make $6,200 from a buyer who I won't mention his name, who basically lied to me about all these different things that he found in the house. And I'm like, in my head, like I just did the walkthrough with you. I was just at the property. We just did all these different things. We did, and then the day of closing, he said no. He said, well, this is all I can do for you is $5,800. Now, mind you, in New York, let's be honest, you can't live on $5,800 every 6 months. You can't.
No.
It took me 6 months to get that deal. And I was nervous. That was the biggest check I ever received. And one lump sum like that, I was nervous to go to Bank of America in Rochester. Kid you not, I pulled up in I was in a what vehicle was it? I think it was a Saturn. I don't know if they make those anymore. It was a red Saturn at the time. And I pulled up, you have thought I was the big shot. So I pulled up and I got out the car, and I don't know if I got like the chills or something, but when I opened the door, I got nervous. I'm like, I got a check in my hand. There's the long line. I'm like, I said, of course, it's busy right now. I'm like, this can't be happening. Like, why I can't be the only one in here? Because I'm nervous to cash this check. In my head, like, is it going to bounce? What's going to happen? What's really about to happen right now? And I'm waiting there. I want to say as long as like 15 minutes in my life. Third one in line. They called up the next person. They said, sir, can I help you? I don't know why I couldn't move my damn feet. I have no idea why I could not move my feet at the time. And finally, I moved up to the desk and she said, can I help you? And I said, yes, I'm just here to cash my check. Now, I don't know why I'm stuttering. I'm stuttering, being like nervous, like you think I'm about to rob the bank. And in back of my mind, I'm like, I hope I don't get embarrassed and say, sir, this is a fake check. This is fraud. We're going to call the cops. So I gave her the check, and then she gets quiet. I'm like, damn, lady, speak to me. Say something. Like, how was your day? Say anything to make me feel good right now. And she's quiet as a mouse. And she, the check went in that little machine and then came back out. And she said, okay, sir, give me 1 second. She goes to the back, and I'm like, oh, damn. I kid you not. I was about to walk out. Leave that check. You can have it. I don't want no parts. But she came back with the manager and said, he said, can I get your ID? They needed 2 forms of ID. So luckily I did have my passport at the time and my driver's license. I gave them both. Then the gentleman and the lady, they're staring at me. And I'm like, please, somebody say something. And maybe in my mind, it was taking a little bit longer than usual, but they was not speaking the way she should be speaking and interact with people. And then that's when the gentleman spoke up and said, okay, sir, we're going to need your thumbprint. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. And then that's when I gave everything. Said, how would you like it back? And I just said all large because I wanted to get out.
Large.
I just want to get out. And when they gave me the money, so you're all set. And the reason they actually had to go get him, I guess at that specific location, anything over $5,000, they have to go get someone to witness it. So I didn't know that at the time, but that's good to know. When Dylan Bake America in that specific location, that's what they do. So I would have ran if I could have run, but I walked very fast because I didn't want to draw any attention to the car. And I got the hell out of that parking lot because I'm like, okay, it's not over yet. And then when I got home, I'm like, okay, this is surreal. This is surreal. And I kid you not, from that day forward, I like seeing those checks. It came from like $5,800 to receiving $15,000 wholesale fees, going into $34,000 assignment fees. I'm like, this is something. And one thing I learned is you can't bring everyone with you. You can't bring everyone. I wanted to bring my family with me. I wanted to bring I thought my close friends at the time. And every time I talk to them, they just want to talk crap about this person, that person, or go to this strip club or that. I'm like, dude, I can't make money at the strip club. I can't do that.
No,
I said,
give away money.
I said, and I even mentioned to him, I said, do I own that strip club? That's
right.
The difference. Like we can have that kind of conversation, but I can't just go every weekend to a strip club where I'm just throwing money or throwing one. It just don't make sense in my eyes. Now, if I was in the real estate space, that probably would have crossed my mind, and I probably would have went to the clubs and all those different states, different things that's out there. But now I'm always frugal with my money, but I'm very cautious of what I do, due to the fact that I want to make sure the time is precious, because one thing is never promised. Well, one thing that's always promised in life is death. We just don't know when, right? So that's why it's like to cherish the time that we have, because if I'm spending it in the club versus actually making $15,000 on that day or a week and whatever that looks like, I get fulfilled from that. I got a family. I don't have the life of going out drinking all the time. I don't have the life to do it all the time. Now, not saying there's nothing wrong with individuals that drink. I still drink, but socially. I don't do it on a daily basis.
Right. Now, Richard just made a video talking about time management, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, time management is a must, man. So, hey, I commend you for that, bro, because it takes a disciplined person to be able to break away from the norm and be able to manage their time and to be able to take, reclaim their life as I look at it. You know what I'm saying? So I commend you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because a lot of people will think, we're being selfish, right? Or they're acting brand new or all these different things.
Everyone can't come with you, man. You know?
100%. And I really tried to begin. I'm like, well, I'm stressing myself out trying to pull you with me. And it just got toxic. I think that's a great word to say. It's toxic. It was unhealthy. And just, I'm glad I'm where I'm at right now, where I choose who I want to communicate with. I choose the spaces I want to be around. Transparently, a lot of my family members don't like it till this day. Oh, Chris don't come to the family function. Well, Chris had the closing that day. He's actually been making about $50,000 on this transaction versus going to a family. Like, there's a lot of different things I can't really explain or articulate to them because in all reality, they still think I'm a real estate agent, not an investor. They don't even know the difference. So
I get that.
They always ask me, "Oh, how's the little house selling going?" Or how's the walkthroughs? I'm like, "Oh, it's going great." I just go along with it. It's going great.
Yeah.
I don't elaborate. I don't got time to waste my energy because I know when I should communicate about it and who's genuinely interested in it.
Oh, for sure. Only quality people, man. That's one of the mottos I stand by, man. Only quality people, yo. Just like you said, everybody can't go. Yep. And you know what I'm saying? It's we talk about relationships a lot on this podcast, you know what I'm saying, and how important relationships are. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I completely feel you when you had to pull away from your family because like a lot of my family are negative like that too, bro. And I had to kind of detach from it because I wanted everybody to be together and to come up together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's do it together. And everybody don't want it. So at the end of the day, you gotta take the reins yourself and deal with folks that's doing what you're doing and like-minded individuals because ain't nothing wrong with someone that's just want to go to the strip club, but I got bigger fish to fry than going to the strip club every Saturday.
Bro, yeah, don't even get me started on. I just think the whole concept of the strip club is crazy. You throw money.
You get money every time you go. And it's like, what's the purpose? You get nothing in return. Nothing in return.
For real. But nah, man, Chris, I think you did a lot of great things, man, and just kind of hearing that is awesome as well too. Because look, like for y'all listening, 2019 is not that long ago. I mean, maybe it is now. 6 years removed now, but it feels like just like yesterday, right? And being in 2019, you get started, and within a year or two, you're cashing $15,000 checks. So it's 100% possible, and really kind of making that transition into PadSplit. I know a lot of people do not know what PadSplit is, or really what it is, or even know what co-living is. Could you kind of just explain that whole model to us?
Absolutely. So when it comes to PadSplit, another terminology a lot of people is more so known for is co-living. Co-living is more so affordable housing. You take a single family house. Let's give you an example of a 4-3, or let's use a 3-2. Most houses in the day and age are 3-2s, 3-bed, 2-bath. And then you convert that 3-bed, 2-bath and make it into a potential 7-bed, 2-bath. Now you probably think like, how is that even possible? It's 100% possible depending on the square footage of the house and the layout of the house. There's houses right now that if you kept that 3-2 house, you probably have an average rent of maybe $1,200 to $1,500. Just say in a okay neighborhood. And versus if you take that okay neighborhood and convert that over to a 7-bed, 2-bath, then you actually have roughly about $51,000, maybe $6,000 of income coming in on a monthly basis. Now, yes, you got to ensure that is potential egresses, and you got to have a minimum of 2. You got to have all the different code things up to date to ensure that there's no violations. And co-living itself has always been around. It's just never been very well known. Because let's be honest, like Airbnb was the same way. Airbnb, no one really knew about Airbnb, and then it took off. Now that PadSplit actually cloned it and make it patented and did all these great things to make it relevant again. And I kid you not, they're doing a hell of a good job. A hell of a good job. It's a money producing activity where if you're not in it, you're gonna miss the wave. And when I say that is, if you have any long-term rentals like myself, I have over 100 doors currently. And let me just preface with this. Although 2019, when I got started in real estate, I was only wholesaling in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. I didn't start buying until maybe 18 months ago. And I have a portfolio currently of $5.4 million.
$5.4 million.
Yeah.
That's it, boy. Yeah, for real though.
So the conversion recently just happened. And the reason I mention that not because of the aspect of how much is there, but the reality of what can really happen. Not just for whether you're old, young, male, female, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you want to get into real estate, you can make it happen. If you want to get into the problem about real estate, and we all know this, is there's a million different ways you can make money. It just matters which direction you want to take it. So it just whatever that looks like, if you really want financial freedom, you have to get in real estate. Let's be honest, you have to get in real estate. I didn't mean to go on a tangent right there, but the reason I mentioned that because I wanted people, the audience, just to know exactly that it wasn't 6 years of just buying. I want to be vulnerable and transparent with you guys. That it just happened within the last 18 months, and within the last 18 months, it was some obstacles. It definitely was a lot of obstacles faced. At the same time, I love obstacles. I love being uncomfortable. That pushes me on a daily basis to be a better person. I need that, because if you don't have obstacles in your business, then you're doing something wrong. I kid you not, you're doing something wrong. People all the time want to sue us. People all the time. I was always taught, if you're not being threatened to be sued, you're not in business.
Hey, Chris, I got court tomorrow morning.
So you're in business, man. Like it's great. And one thing about PadSplit, just going back to that a little bit, with dealing with attorneys and all that good stuff, having the right resources in place, the better relationships in place, it's a breeze. It's a breeze. Literally, we got squatters in one of our PadSplit. Actually, it's technically supposed to be a PadSplit. It was supposed to go live a week before the squatters went in, which is another story for another day. But the that specific PadSplit was supposed to net us about literally maybe $4,200, maybe $4,000, and that property alone, it gave me a headache. It gave me a headache. At the beginning, however, I had to realize, okay, Chris, you got into real estate. You understand that you're going to face these things. You have the resources in place. Why are you stressing out? Let them do it. Don't worry about it. You got a property management company in place, and you have PadSplit. Let them two communicate and get out the way. That's it. I left it. I'm in the email chain. Let me know what's going on. If you need any documents or you need any communication from me, just reach out. I'll respond accordingly. But handling the sheriff, like I'm looking in the emails, receiving like the sheriff was at the house. They served these documents. They did these documents, and that's great. And you're probably thinking, like, how can you do all this like virtually? I have not seen one of my properties ever since I got into real estate.
Yeah.
And I'm in 16 markets right now. Have yet to see any of my properties.
See, I learned that you're not buying the real estate, you're buying the system and the business. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really want to be financially free, like, you don't want to have to be managing all of that and doing that yourself. You got a system in place. You got people that are basically, you got employees that's working the system. And so, you use other people's money, other people's time to give you your freedom. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I look at it,
Absolutely. Yeah, we're dealing with co-living. It's more so it's a moneymaker. If you get, I'm letting you guys know now, if you have a LTR, long-term rental, and it's just making $200 or $300, which, let's be honest, that's a traditional route. People love to make $200 a month, but when you can actually find out what your bottom line really could look like for instance, our business, we won't touch a PadSplit unless it's a minimum. A minimum, we're netting $2,000. A minimum.
Net. Not gross.
Right. Net. Now, you probably think, like, and guys, if I do want to preface, people are going to watch this later. Well, damn, I just made a bad choice. I'm buying this LTR or anything. If that's your business model, go for it. Go for it. That's not mine, though. I'll support whatever that looks like. But if you're going to reach out to me, I'm just going to let you know I am going to push you into making more money. I'm always about making more money at different opportunities. Or if you still want to continue to do your LTRs, you're buying whole business, that's fine. Just try to buy 1 or 2 PadSplits, or maybe not convert all your properties, convert 1 and 2, just see what that looks like. And, see if that proof of concept works for you. It may not, and that's fine. But when it comes to co-living itself, they're changing the 3-2 to a 7-2. I do that day and night. I will do that day and night. One of ours right now is we got 11 rooms. We're closing on Lakeland, technically Orlando. That's gonna be 14 units. 14. And that one alone is $7,800. $7,800. And it's crazy just to think about these numbers versus if I was doing a regular rental. It'd be cut in half and all those different things. And shockingly, the concept of PadSplit co-living, if you're not in it right now, the rules, the regulations, and all that good stuff that's constantly going out weekly after week, we're constantly having weekly meetings with PadSplit, actually. And they're constantly changing and growing. And there's stuff that we actually had a meeting today that they're going to be announcing next Monday. I don't know if I can say it. I kind of want to say it, but I want to say it.
Yeah, sure, whatever you want, brother. Hey.
If PadSplit's following you, then no, I don't want to get you banned or something. They also get reported. No. but no, you're good. No, it's just PadSplit are doing a lot of amazing things. They just bought out 2 companies, the well-known companies. I'm not going to mention their names, but they bought out 2 well-known companies in which they'll be announcing this Monday coming up or early next week, letting you know exactly what that looks like. And also, not just to buy up for 2 companies, they also partner with the well-known company as well on the Airbnb side to help market an expansion with the co-living. So there's a lot of great things that's happening, and a lot of people say there's not PadSplit in all markets. You're 100% correct. There's not PadSplit core markets, but there's PadSplit anywhere. You can do PadSplit anywhere. You can utilize the platform. You can still do. It's a lot of different things that a lot of people don't know. So, okay, I'm going to not move forward with this property because it's not in the market. Now, I do got a preference. If you're going to buy your first PadSplit, do it in the core market. Get all the support you can from the marketing. They're spending $1 million a quarter on marketing alone per market, not the company, but the per market, just to ensure that your rooms get filled. Now, I hear it all the time. I don't want to pay the fees. 10% is too much. 8% is too much. 12% is too much. How much more money are you actually going to spend yourself if you're actually doing the marketing? You're wasting your time, your energy. You're stressing out because these rooms are not getting filled. Versus pay them the 10%, let them do their job, and I love receiving notifications. You got a room request. Entire Jacksonville, Florida market, they're all 100% occupied. Texas, 95%, 94. One just got evicted, but we're not going to talk about that. And I can go down to our Louisiana market, PA. I can go down to market all these different things, and I just love receiving notifications. You got a new booking and or someone's transferring rooms. Our property managers, we coach as well. We actually told them they got so good that if they, like, for instance, let's use Warren, for example. Warren's in Jacksonville. He's a great man. He does amazing things. Now, imagine having 32 units over in Jacksonville, and you get a notification saying somebody's leaving. He'll reach out and have a conversation, see why they're leaving, or they'll see a notification, they just transfer to a different city or surrounding area. So what our property manager is doing, because we coach them, they actually reach out to them and see if they want to transfer to another room of what we have in our actual portfolio, if it's vacant. So we try to keep them in there, which is great because initially you just never know. Maybe they're not getting along with those housemates. Because let's be honest, 7 to 8 people could be a lot, right? You're sharing 2 bathrooms. Sometimes you got a third bathroom, but you're sharing a lot of people want their privacy. At the same time, you are catering to a different crowd. But it's good to have those resources. That's the reason I bring that up, because resources are everything, especially when doing PadSplit. I know Angel and I were literally moving over to Virginia doing PadSplit anywhere on that specific area. We actually had contractors go out there this weekend and had inspectors. A lot of different things we just had it happen over the weekend, and that could be a moneymaker itself. Because that one was actually an LTR, and that's what we get rid of. So,
so Chris, you broke down the PadSplit, and take us through your process of, from the time you see a property to doing your due diligence to kind of coming up with the numbers to closing. Kind of give us an idea of what that process looks like for the people that's out there listening and what they're hearing, you know what I mean? If they're looking to get into PadSplit, and talking about your process and how you make sure that, the deal works for you.
Yeah. So our process is pretty simple. It was difficult at the beginning because we didn't really have a process. Processes are key. Our process, when someone sends a PadSplit or a potential PadSplit, 95% of our properties we buy is creative. We only have one property that we bought the traditional route through cash, and whether it's a subject to seller finance, hybrid, any kind of form of that, we like to look at that more because there's a less entry fee to come in. Now, the way we look at our properties, first thing I always look at is two different things. Does it have an HOA? And I'm looking at square footage, because I'm not going to plug and play until I know those two things. Now, all the properties we have, no HOAs at all. None of our markets, none of them at all. Now, we just recently opened up for Florida market to have HOAs because there's different guidelines. Because HOA, the communities they're changing, and also they actually built Florida specific only for some communities to be STRs, MTRs, corporate rentals. They literally built the entire community for that. And the funny part about it, the house I actually live in right now, I bought on sub 2, and I bought it from another sub 2 student. And this was a recent Airbnb. He actually had a portfolio of Airbnbs, and I wanted this one. And this community I live in right now is it's a gated community about maybe 2 miles long, give or take, whatever, north, south, east, west, wherever you want to look at it, how you want to look at it. Just imagine a big circle community. Now, majority of the properties on the opposite side is literally all HOA. I mean, they're all HOA, but all rented out on Airbnb. We can see people coming and going all the time. And when I actually had the pleasure of joining one of the board of meetings, I don't know why they invited me, and or they probably wanted to be nosy. Who is this African American moving in the community? Let's just say that. And that's when they went down a list of what that looks like, as far as the rules, the regulations, what they can and cannot do. And then to find out, when I did more research and talking to the counselor, they call it counselor here, who's actually a board of advisors for the county, to figure out, they realized literally almost 55% of the communities here has HOAs. They're built for STRs, MTRs, and corporate rentals. They're built for it. And the reason I preface with that, because I just want people to know, like, HOAs is not a deal killer, but for all markets besides Florida and some counties, that is more so something we are open to now. Square footage is huge. Square footage is huge. You cannot fit 18 people or even 8 people in a house that's less than 800 square foot. Doesn't work, guys. You'd be shocked how many people send us deals and say, "Oh, I got this amazing opportunity. Don't want to miss it. I got buyers on standby, right?" But you've been waiting days for me to get back to you. So it just got to make sense. Square footage is huge. We like to stay at a minimum of 1,000 and above. Now, you're probably thinking that is 1,000 may be small. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. However, depending on the layout of the house, it can work. It can definitely work. Perfect example is 207 over in Jacksonville. That one is about 1,300 square foot, and that's 7 rooms. And that was making a minimum of $5,000 a month. Minimum. Now, I love how it was just straight and narrow, though. It's like you're literally going down the hall versus all these different things. And we got this Texas one that has upstairs, downstairs, and all these. It's a lot of different things that you really have to understand. But as far as the process, the first thing we look at is square footage. We look at exactly if it's an HOA, if it passed those two different things, then we start plugging and playing. We got a very in-depth calculator that we utilize. Is very depth. Like for instance, we plug in the mortgage, we plug in the actual PITI, which is principal, interest, tax and insurance and all that good stuff. We plug that in, and literally we plug in maybe the entry fee is $50,000. We plug that in, and it automatically populates exactly what we need, whether it's going to be a deal or no deal. Now, on PadSplit specifically, if you're a host, we have a different underwriting tool that we utilize than people who don't have it. You have to understand when you're doing co-living, you want to make it into a PadSplit or something like that. It's different underwriting versus the LTR. You can't utilize the same numbers. You can't use the same rent rates. Versus I personally underwrite by zip code and how many units in that zip code. So if it's on a hypothetical where I live, 34747, if it says 44 active units and this $200 a week with a shared bathroom, and then I go to look at the map and see a zip code right next to it and say is 18 active units and there's 190, I'm gonna take the average of both. So you're at 195. So 195 times how many rooms? I said 7. Times 7 rooms, and that math is different. It's not your average math. You're probably thinking like, okay, you do the basic 195 times 7 rooms. No. So to do the real math with PadSplit is 195 times the 7 rooms times not 4 weeks is 4.33. And there's a reason because of that. You have to do the 4.33 because of the average rate turnover rate. You have to do the average rate, and some weeks fall a little bit different on PadSplit versus the actual LTRs. It's a longer conversation for another day. I know we don't have time for it today. I actually just did an underwriting course not too long ago about PadSplit. Their screen share did very in depth about some case studies and everything. But yes, underwriting is very different. Just understanding the math on that, and then kind of reverse engineer and see if you're going to have a private money lender. 9 times out of 10, we always have a private money lender involved. So we have to take that into consideration. We got to ensure they get paid on a monthly basis if it's interest-only payments. And or if they want to come up a private money partner, then we got to take that into consideration, like all the different factors. And because there's a private money partners out there that we have that they want to be completely hands-off, and that's 100% fine. Versus there's people that's PMPs with us. They're actually local to the property. They want to see everything. They want to do that. I'm like, okay, go right ahead. Like, not going to argue with you. Go right, do what you got to do. And it really all depends on the numbers and what that looks like. But the process is fairly simple. Just square footage, HOA. And once you have those two main components and those pass the sniff test, as some people will say, you can literally start plugging and play what those numbers look like. And literally within 5 minutes, we could tell you right then and there, deal or no deal. We're not going to waste any of your time. We got a team that actually handles that part of it now. Myself and Angel, we're completely hands off on that unless they text us or like message, hey, Chris, I got this deal. If we have time right there, we probably underwrite it, but we probably just say, hey, just send it to this email, let the team get back to you. So I hope that makes sense. I know that was a lot there. Well, I just wanted to preface with, the math is totally different. The process can always change. And as you guys mentioned in the beginning, the systems is always key. If you don't have the systems, you don't really have a business. And systems kills businesses if you don't have the proper ones in place.
Right. So how do you manage the egos and the personalities when it comes to, the different people that, if you're in 1,300 square feet, and there's 7 different people in there, 2 bathrooms. How are you managing it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would think people would be fighting each other.
So we only had one physical. Well, it almost became physical over in Texas City, one of our PadSplits. That one has 9. But he was just a troublemaker. But in all honesty, the property manager handle it. We don't handle it at all. The property manager and PadSplit, they have that communication. We can see all of it. Now, the great thing about PadSplit, they already have a vetting system. So there's the people that we're catering to on PadSplit or co-living is people who's constantly working. And if you get a checkbox and lets you know, like, for instance, if you were going to apply right now, it will say, are you, what's your occupation, of course, and then you're going to check off if you're a morning riser or a night riser. and they try to match make, so to speak, and that goes along with the password. Like if they put those filters in, and then they'll tell them specifically what passwords in the area match your criteria that you're looking for. Because let's be honest, if you got 7 or 8 people in a house and everyone's getting up in the morning, someone's going to be late for work or whatever that looks like. Someone's going to be late. And and I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people don't notice, and there's some things that PadSplit find out, they will ban you from PadSplit and take you off the platform. Your conversion for every four rooms, you need to have 1 bathroom. So if you have 8 people in those rooms, you need 2 bathrooms. 12, 3, so on and so on. Now, it's always a catch where people say, well, what if you have 9 people? Do you waste money to put another bathroom? Or do you get away with just 2 bathrooms? And always on the safe side, put the 3rd bathroom in. And or if you don't have the funds right then to do it, right, at least put a half bath. At least put a half bath to get it up, or a stand-up shower. One thing we're very famous about, we do a smaller bathroom, just put a smaller, like just a stand-up shower, at least. You don't have to go through all the detail. I mean, not detail, but all the nitty-gritty. So a lot of people want to say, oh, you need a sit-down bathtub, you need this. No. 95% of our PadSplits all have stand-up showers, and we have not received 1 complaint. So I hope that makes sense.
You on mute, Kev?
Yeah, I think he'd be mute.
A lot of co-living. I know another guy that does co-living here in Charlotte, and he gives his tenants personality test.
Yeah, that's right.
You just came in, yeah. It never fails. So do you guys give personality tests to tenants?
We don't. Whatever PadSplit does on their end, they do all that vetting aside. We don't really see it unless we see their profiles. Like we see their profiles. One thing I really do like is the fact that other members can rate them on, like, without even saying their name, so we can see if this person is messy and or why they're transferring and all this different stuff. Like we deny people all the time. We deny people all the time. We actually denied. Well, I didn't. Warren did. Warren denied somebody 2 days ago because he wanted to transfer from another PadSplit. And what Warren did for us is that he just took a screenshot and sent it in a group message and said, "Hey guys, I'll just let you know I'm going to cancel this one because of this, and this." It literally, like, I can understand one roommate say you're messy and don't clean up after yourself, but not the whole damn everybody in the damn PadSplit saying the same thing. So it looked like you're a common denominator, and or because we try to take into consideration maybe it was a bad argument, or maybe something happened, or a feud, or anything along those terms. Because being in a cramped space between 1,300, even 1,000 and 1,500 square foot, it could be. I know for a fact. I know I can't, because I'm a big person. I need my space, and I like my privacy. However, these are always working class people. We ensure that we're always near a bus line. We're always near amenities. Or attractions, I'll say. Attractions where they can either walk, take a train, bus, Uber, something like that. Now, if you don't have any of those things, guys, I just want to mention, don't ever buy the PadSplit. Because it's going to be very rare that very rare that they'll have a car, unless we looked up. We actually, one of our properties in Jacksonville is in the suburbs, and everyone has a car. All 7 people have cars. So we looked up on that one. Versus there's times where your house may be vacant because the individual don't have a bus line to get on to go to work or anything like that. So that's something just to take in consideration.
So if someone's looking for a room tonight and they're looking on your site, like what's the requirements? What do I need to bring to the table to get that room?
The background check. PadSplit does run background checks on everyone. No ifs about it. Now, they won't ban you based on your history. However, it will be presented to the host. So, hey, this is what's going on. One thing they actually updated, they spoke about today's meeting, like they're gonna have a pass, like it'll say pass on top of their head. At the same time, it will say, proceed with caution, meaning like more so, look at the bio, see what the past history looks like. You can give them a chance, or it's totally up to you. But they won't, like, pedophiles is a no-go for them. They won't do anything like that. Now, luckily for PadSplit, you only can have one person in the room, unless you get caught, like we just caught somebody with the cameras. Let's get guys. If you get PadSplit, get cameras. Get cameras, please. Get cameras. You need not in their rooms, but more so in the facility. One of the gentlemen over in Jacksonville, he gave the female the digits to get into the house. Now the house is we know based on their profile who's in that house. We know we got their pictures and everything. It was just very weird how this individual kept putting the code in and walking into the room. Now, mind you, all the rooms are fully occupied, and then this lady would just never leave. To find out she was staying over and he didn't want to pay extra and all this other stuff. And when my property manager actually mentioned it to him, say, hey, just to let you know, we're happen to see that, you know, you're having guests over. You're not allowed to have guests over. And you never guess what excuse he utilized. Or maybe it was true. Now thinking it out loud, saying it out loud, maybe it was true. He said, how do I keep this PG?
Hey, you can say it.
Okay. I'm gonna paraphrase. It was she was there for an appointment. So that's what was mentioned. And
you're a doctor.
Right, there you go.
You know? I'm a masseuse, you know.
Right, yeah. So we did have to let him know, like, you know, what you do in your off time is fine. We don't care. It's more so you can't give the code to the house that all members have, especially the front door, to someone who's not a PadSplit member at all. And that could be a liability. So one thing we did change on all our pastors from Louisiana, North Carolina, Louisiana, North Carolina, PA, Jacksonville. We literally made it so the PadSplit, not hosts, but the tenants, they all have one code individually. Like Kevin, you have your own code that no one knows. Rich, you have your own code. I will have my own code. So if you're room 1, 2, 3, and we're in the PadSplit as roommates, Kevin, you have to put your code in that front door so we can monitor who's going in the door at the same time. And also we did it for the back door as well. So, and it's so funny that this recently just happened, because as of today, they're actually going to announce that you are allowed to have guests now if the square footage is a little bit bigger. Like one of our PadSplit, I think we're doing $240 a week for the private room with a private bath, and that is much bigger. He literally could put a sofa and all those different things in there if he really wanted to, but it's going to be more. If you want to add a guest, it'd be $350 a week versus the $240, $250 mark. So they did recently just launch that you could have a guest depending on the square footage of your room. Yeah.
So I guess question with that, with just PadSplit in general, I know you have a bigger team. For somebody who is, you know, just starting out, what kind of systems would you put in place to ensure that, you know, we're able to see somebody's able to see an influx of deals and not trying to just say one man show everything?
The right people. The right people. I'll start with the right people. People. What I mean when I say that is someone who understands your business and understand exactly what the vision looks like. Because they're only going to do what you tell them to do unless they fully understand what you're trying to implement.
Right.
Some of the systems I learned that's now in place is ensuring that. That's one thing I really admire about Angel. Like when it comes to like the organization and all that stuff, like we automate a lot of different things. Before we started buying, to be honest, we reached out to private money lenders. We reached out to property managers. Property managers is crazy in a good way, where if you built that relationship, they will do everything for you. Like this eviction process that's going on, I was ready to put an SOP in place, but the SOP, the title literally says, reach out to the PM, meet you like the property manager, and let them do it. Now, we are tracking exactly what the steps look like. However, that's not something internal that we have to do. But to go back to your question, the system that you need to have is the resources. The resources, the property manager you need in place. You also need to ensure that you have the right, it's going to sound bad, but it's the honest truth. You need to have the right honest contractors. They're just do the work done, and then they're out the picture, and then find out you got to put in $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and more over the next couple months because they just wanted to half-ass the job. And unfortunately, that's what happens in real estate. And one thing we got to a point, like even in Jacksonville, the one that you are a partner on with us, like literally, there was a phone call. It was a 2-minute phone call. Hey, Chris, I got this great opportunity for you. I don't know if you guys even did see the numbers, but I know you guys are going to buy it. Like they know exactly what it looks like. He already knows that we can get this done in 30 days. We can make this happen. And now, mind you, if it was a newer person or somebody I was like on the fence about, I wouldn't believe them. Now, always trust and verify. Don't get me wrong. Always trust and verify, which we did. We put it in a calculator. I'm like, he was right. And matched our buy box. Was on a smaller scale of the square footage. I'm like, but we got the rooms. We got the rooms out of it. So it worked out. And but I think that's a huge component. The property manager is a huge component to it. Depending on how big or small your team is, to be quite frank, even getting a $5 VA that's part-time could really help you out. Like 12 to 15 hours a week or even 10 hours a week just to go in and check on your property management company, you'd be shocked how that eliminates things. And or just follow, hey, just checking in. Is there anything we can do for you today? It may look like it's coming from us, but it's really not. It's coming from the VA who's actually emailing on our behalf.
Hope the folks ain't watching who be getting your emails. You'd be like, damn, I thought that was Chris.
That's out of that. But no, that's so that you can put it in place. And that's always document everything you do. Always document every single thing you do. Even if something like you don't think you should be document it. Like I got a habit of, I'm a pen and paper guy. I know a lot of people hate that, but I love my pen and paper. It keeps my mind really going when I write it down versus type it out and stuff. And one thing I truly learned that if I write it down, I see what I have to do and or what does look like moving forward, then I truly understand exactly what's trying to happen. Now, if I go back to Angel and I we're business partners, right? Now, as we promoted in the last 30 to 60 days, we're looking to hire acquisitions. We're looking to hire integrators. We're looking to hire all these different things. Now, you're probably thinking like, we've been promoting that for 60 days. You guys haven't found one? No. You can't just hire the first person that sounds great, right? You can't. They have to understand the vision because you need to separate the individuals that just looking for a job, and that's fine. That's fine if you're looking for a job. But you do have to understand that we're looking for the long play. Like the longer you're in the company, the longer you make, the more money we want you to make. We don't care about ourselves. In all honesty, we really don't care. We want the business to grow. Angel and I, we're true testament for those who truly know us out there that we literally make sure they get paid before we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to think about just people in general. If you get the right people in your business, I kid you not, you'd be surprised how you can 10x your business. You'd be very surprised. And then you wake up one day like, damn, I feel like I'm not doing nothing. Like, and that's when you're like, okay, now you need, that's a good thing, but also could be an obstacle. And your obstacle, like, okay, Chris, what should you be doing? You need to be going out there making more money. How can you do that? And this actually recently just happened where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I'm getting on more, stages and all that stuff. Like I literally got a conference coming up of, it's not that many people. It's about 2,500 people, but it's okay. I need to go out to get more connections, let people know what I'm doing. And not just that, also understand that a lot of people out there don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And sometimes you got to hear from somebody else than the person you're always around on a daily basis. And I learned that you really can't control what you can't control. You only control what you can control. And that's only going to make life a lot better. And I'm a true testament to that because I used to get very emotional. Like, why the hell does he not listen? Or why is she not listening? Like, why did he don't get it? Like, I don't know why he don't get it. And sometimes you got to really understand that people learn differently, and that's okay. And people is going to react differently than what you expected, and that's okay. I'm a firm believer that patterns don't lie. Patterns don't lie. Something happened once, you mention it. You mention it to a VA, co-worker, family member, whoever it is. They do it again. They do it a third time. It's just a pattern. That's not going to change. So I guess more so back to the initial question. I probably didn't answer it. I'm sorry if I did.
You did. I took notes. Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think the people is the key. And then have the people, which I do got to admire Angel. Angel is one. She created the systems.
And she is an angel, by the way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing, man. She created the systems, and she, we worked on a lot of different things together to ensure, like, okay, no, this is not going to work. This don't make sense. Well, okay, this makes sense. And then you need that dynamic. You really need that dynamic. And one biggest thing you have to do is just get uncomfortable. If you're afraid to say, hey, this is not going to work out, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
You're gonna repeat a cycle. So I'm very big on like self-reflection every single day to ensure that personal growth is there. I'm personally working on myself. Or hey, I'm looking, like, I've jotted down notes, like, damn, I need to go back and listen to that recording. Maybe I didn't communicate that properly, or maybe I didn't articulate this correctly. I need to work on better on how to actually explain this or that, or what that looks like. But the entire week and the last like 30 days, we've been interviewing. There's a couple that stood out that may cross, the line, but we want to take our time. We want to make sure the right people is in place, because those people are actually going to actually enhance the company, and user experience is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They remember that one bad review, but they won't remember all the great things you did for them. So, yeah,
bro, that's phenomenal, man. I mean, all that there, and so much. Like I've taken notes, and definitely questions that I'm definitely going to ask you more about at later dates. I know we're about near the end near the end here, but man, like there's just so much. I think that we all have to learn from you and your like wealth of knowledge, especially, man, like for y'all listening, somebody to start real estate in 2019 and now is doing the things that he's doing. Not only does he own over $5 million in real estate, he has assets, right? Like the whole purpose of this podcast, assets over money. Like he has ownerships, and these things, as he owns these each year, they're going up in value. The value is increasing as he's paying down the mortgages, as he's paying down his private money lenders. The value is increasing. So if we go another 5 years, not only is he going to have, probably 5 million more, maybe even 10, 20, 30 million more, those same assets from before are going to be maybe doubling it in with equity wise and pay down. Right. So it's just mind boggling. It has my mind wandering and asking me, bringing up a lot of things that I've just been jotting down here, man. You've been saying a lot of great things, but really just wanted to say, I guess, thank you. But before I turn it over to you for any like closing comments, just want to pass it to Kev to see, if you had anything you wanted to add, Kev.
Man, I just think that's amazing, man. How you can take a 3-bedroom and turn it to a 7 to 8 bedroom. I mean, hey, that's unheard of where I'm from. Yeah. I mean, I know a guy here in Charlotte that's doing the co-living spaces and turning the spaces like that. But man, I commend you, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everybody does different things in real estate. And we meet so many different people on our show. So it's like, man, just thank you for coming and telling us what you do. And, for the listeners out there, that's inspiring to be a real estate investor. I mean, you're a bright light, bro. So just keep shining and, keep doing your thing.
Appreciate that very much. Yeah. If you're listening out there, guys, I can leave you guys with this because it affected me personally. Don't ever let someone limit your belief. If you have that thought, if you have that vision, if you have that idea, if someone think you're crazy, remove yourself from around them. Don't ever let no one stop you in tracks. I don't care if you're best friend for 80 years. I don't care if it's your family member, mom, dad, sister, brother. I don't care who it is. If you have that thought in your mind, you have it there for a reason. And all you have to do is put it on paper and get around the right people. You'll see how fast that can come to light.
Bro, I needed that, bro. Like straight up, man. This is throwing up the deuces like what? Like Chris Brown, you know what I mean? Throwing up the deuces. But no, man, this was powerful. We definitely Like we have a lot of guests, Kev, that we got to bring back for a round two, man. Like this stuff, like just to go from where we started, man, Chris, just to give you perspective before we jump, it was literally just me and Kev hopping on every week talking about mindset, which is cool, you know what I mean? But shoot, I get tired of hearing myself talk sometimes. I'm like, all right, like we're like, we gotta get some guests on here, man, because we got some knowledge, right? But like, bro, there's so many people, and then straight up like people that look like us that are in this industry that are making waves that people don't know about. So we want to just showcase that, man. There's people that are super young. Like I remember my boy Kyle down in Texas. Dude was 19, 20 years old and making 15 grand of like plus a month, doing 2 to 3 deals wholesaling while he's traveling the country, living in different countries, living in Mexico. Bro, it's like just crazy. And we overcomplicate so many different things when it's really not that complicated. And you just simplify it. They're just the right people, man. If you get that inclination in your head, you know, that maybe somebody you're not aligned with somebody, don't stick it out, man, because you guys aren't aligned. Write it down, just like Chris said, separate, get away from them and go somebody else, because the people that you are around, they're going to take you so far. So thank you for saying that, Chris. Please stick around for a second. We're about to end it, and we'll go back to our little, you know, the backstage kind of thing virtually. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is episode number 14 of the Assets Over Money podcast. It was a great one, great Friday Eve, and this is definitely going to carry me through to the weekend. So thank you, Chris. We'll see y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you.